Good evening and welcome to the Full Force News Burst Live with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. Just as I go live as well, I noticed the little emblem comes up in the corner of the shot. Haven't had that for a while, and that means that this might be a bit of a rough one. Glitchy wise, it might not be the best quality, unfortunately, but that is something I can't do anything about. It might have something to do with bandwidth and going at a prime peak time in the evening on a Monday, I guess. But yeah, I'm sorry about that, guys. I will try and at least see if I can help the situation by turning my phone off Wi-Fi. Maybe that'll help. Anyway, doesn't matter. Hello and welcome to the show. We have got pre-orders tomorrow, as we have been, officially told in many different ways. And just as I expected, leaked images, or images that, not necessarily leaked images, just images that people were able to find on, I think, Amazon or one of those situations. Because again, with the mainline figures, they go up everywhere, and everywhere will post those images, won't they, in advance. So yeah, somehow they're out there. And big shout out as well to Toy Habits, who posted a lot of those. Preternia initially, who posted like the initial 4 images that were like the package and the figures next to each other. And then to Toy Habits that posted a ton of other new ones, which is great. We will obviously, I'm sure there'll be more promo images tomorrow, of course, because we'll obviously on Pulse, they'll have promo images. So we'll get to see Battle Armor, Cobra Commander, Monkey Wrench, and so on in all their splendor. And of course, the Cobra Claw, which, because that's a Pulse exclusive, I don't think any of the images or promo images have popped out yet. I mean, none of the kind of shooting the galaxy style pictures have popped out yet that I'm aware of. It is early. It could have happened. Is there a stream tomorrow? No, Eworthy, there is not. So we were informed that it is just a social drop tomorrow. It isn't a live stream. So yeah. When is the pre-order is a good question, Arc27. I initially assumed if there was going to be some sort of live stream, that there would be like the 11 a.m. Eastern situation followed by the 1 p.m. Eastern pre-orders. I'm assuming it's going to be around about the same time, but it could be earlier. They could go up they've gone up like around like 9 and 10 in the past, haven't they? Like, so Eastern. So I would just be on the the hunt all day long. They have posted, though, I will say, Hasbro or Pulse or whoever it was, or G.I. Joe maybe, posted a reel, didn't they? Which I can't look at now because I've turned my phone off, that had the timer on it. So it could be very much a case of just look at that social post and it'll probably tell you. The EE drop zone says 10 a.m. Pacific, so 1 p.m. Eastern, says Jeremy. Thank you, Jeremy. There is that. That's always a good way of gauging when it could go up. Bias says, I think the no stream tomorrow pretty much makes it a lock that we'll get another wave for Yojo June, and that just like the Alpine wave last year, we won't see renders before they drop. Possibly. Bias, yeah, there's a possibility there, especially with, well, we might see, yeah, that's a good point, because yeah, it's just a social drop, so we're not going to get name onlys, we're not going to get renders, we're not going to get that sort of stuff, which now that I come to think of it, is a bit of a shame, but we're still going to have plenty to talk about tomorrow as well. I will go live tomorrow following the pre-orders and just talk about the promo images and stuff like that. But let's talk about what we've seen so far, shall we? Yeah, let's look at the images we are privy to. So, as I said at the start of the video, Preternia posted the first batch of images, which effectively showed the box at an angle and then the figure and all the accessories just off to the left-hand side of it. And that sort of gave us a good idea of what we might see with the figures. And they all look pretty, I've got to say, they look even better than the renders kind of do them. Again, renders are cool and all, but you see the actual figures and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, now I'm seeing it in like actual real life 3D. Was hoping for an update on dial tone, lol. Yes, Hydrus, I think we all are. Sorry if you missed the start, 77T, John, but I didn't really do much. I just bantered the beginning. It is a killer wave. I agree with that, Chris G. E-Worthy says, I love Monkey Wrench's wrench axe. Yeah, and so does Monkey Wrench by the look of it. He's proper grinning holding that thing, isn't he? Anyway, let's go through these images, like I said, that popped up initially for Pre-Eternia, and then courtesy of Toy Habits, who posted a little article that had loads more images involved, and we'll be looking at those as well, including obviously the backs of the boxes, which give us loads of kind of fun little homages. Probably one of my favorite things when talking about the pre-orders and new product drops. It's always, for me, one of my favorite things is always looking at the backs of those boxes, looking to see if there are any cheeky homages sneaking through. And there's a few little bits and pieces we can get stuck into. And of course, the other thing we've got to remember here, the images aren't of the highest quality at the moment. So I would say that there might even be even clearer, better, more interesting images, even the ones we've got at the moment to look at tomorrow. So like, especially on the backs of these cards, it might kind of clear up some details that aren't quite clear. 77T John says, had good news today as Walmart cancelled my Super 7 Ultimates Red Laser and no one else has it in yet. Yeah, that's not good news, is it, 77T John? Yeah, I saw that a few people had that cancelled, which is a shame. That is something that Walmart have done, by the way. They've often like cancelled those kind of things, those kind of pre-orders, and then they show up in store the next day. So I would keep an eye on in store for those, genuinely. 610 Yojo Daddy says, what's up, Chris? Thanks for what you do. I needed an escape for a little bit. Okay, cool. I'm glad. Join us. Nathan said, this is a weird wave to have 3 named Cobras, no army builder, and a Joe character, though this Snake Eyes is awesome. Is this wave some sort of one-off to get another wave in this year? So, Nathan, I'm not sure if you've been following the kind of listings situation, but when the listings first dropped, Cobra Commander and Major Blood were actually in the next batch in terms of the number order of the listings, and Snake Eyes and Monkey Wrench were actually supposed to be like were revealed as a wave with Sci-Fi and Night Viper in the leaked listings. Now that seems to have been, it seems to be more like a moving of parts. Could it be a logistical one? Could it be based on the delay that we heard last year? Could that have something to do with it? Because a lot of people are positing that it was a factory issue. And if that's the case, then maybe logistics do play a huge part in that. And it could be that they moved some things around in order to make sure they had figures coming out in good time, if that makes sense. So I think it's more I think you're right. I think there is an element of there's definitely movement around this one. But yeah, it's not necessarily a thing of they... but yeah, that's another good point, actually. Sorry, you did mention it. Is it some way to get another wave in this year? I'm not sure if it's to get a wave in necessarily, or if it's, like I said, just to move the moving parts to make sense based on other factors, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Probably not. Right, should we have a look at these images? Sorry, I'm kind of realize there's loads of comments coming in. I love it. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated. I can't keep up most of the time, so I'm going to just go through the images and come back to any. And if I missed a question or whatever and you really want it answered, you can throw it in again and I'll see if I can pick it up. My apologies though. Starting with Cobra Commander. Do you know what? I was going to move these around in order of like my interest level, and I forgot to do that. But this is actually in a very random order, as in the characters are, not the actual images. So we'll start with Cobra Commander, who actually I'm very excited for. And here we can see there's some good movement in those lower legs. I was a little bit concerned about the articulation that's going to be going on there, but it does look like there's an ankle cut. But I think he looks great, so much better. And again, no shade on the renders, because the renders are really cool. But there's something about seeing this physically in like a more three-dimensional reality that really starts it fills it out a little bit better. Scott says, who's Ron damn order? That's terrible. David says, I'm still waiting on dial tone. Aren't we all, David? Well, not all of us, because I've seen people taking pictures of them. But yeah, it's one of those figures, isn't it? Dial Tone has been caught up in the wave of sort of like bad timing and all sorts of crap. Look at this wonderful thing. So I'm really into this. I think the head sculpts are a nice touch. The fact we've got like a a snaky eyes one, and I don't mean snake eyes. I mean the eyes of a snake under there, much like the Deke cartoon kind of homage right there. And of course, yeah, regular human, possibly Fred underneath that other helmet, alternate head. Very cool. I like it. I like the design overall. I think it's a great. I think it's a great battle armor Cobra Commander, and I'm very excited to get this one involved in the collection. The backpack is really cool. I like that kind of update on it a little bit. The blaster, the laser rifle, or whatever the hell it is that he kind of carries around with him in the original, they've done a really good job of kind of recreating that in classified form. Obviously, we've got extra hands going on here, and they're very unique because they have that kind of metallic armor glove sort of situation. I wonder if we'll see them elsewhere on other characters. I'm trying to think who that would even like make sense for, but probably you're just going to get repaints of Cobra Commander, aren't you? Because let's face it, we've got the blue one, we've got as in like old school kind of like homages. There's always the opportunity to do something really cool. Like Crimson Strike Team would make a lot of sense, but something like a Python one would be pretty cool. A Python Patrol one would be so dope. Yeah, and of course, yeah, Serpentor down there, look, in iguana form. Very nice touch. And yeah, I'm digging this one. Here's a couple of images that just look like Spider-Man pointing at each other, doesn't it? In fact, you could probably get another one, angle it slightly differently, or flip that one on its axis on the left, and add that. I'm going to do that. That'll be my favorite thing I've ever done. At that point, someone's already going to beat me to that. Now I know it. Now that I've given the game away of what Photoshop I want to do, someone's going to be doing that in the time that I'm doing this episode. But I think it looks awesome. I love the fact he's got a backpack. It gives him way more depth, more kind of size, just like the vintage figure does for sure. My only thing I would say is I think they missed a little bit of a trick. As you can see, you can definitely see that ankle articulation specifically on the back left leg on the reverse image, because you can really see that kind of bit at the front of the front of the shin has kind of come all the way round. So there's definitely an extra ankle split there, just above where the normal ankle articulation is. So there's definitely that articulation point, which is the important thing here, because I was concerned that wouldn't be the case, but obviously it's there, so we're all good. Something they really could have done there with Storm Shadow Arctic Mission, because that has hounded that poor figure for the longest time, and it's a dope looking figure, but that that lower leg or shin articulation is just missing in to such a degree that it affects my enjoyment of it, which is a shame, really. McMurphy says his chest piece in the real photos look much better than renders. There is much more depth and definition in the bottom section of the chest piece. Love it now. I agree. I think when you look at that image on the left-hand side, especially that one, you can see that the chest piece does curve out quite predominantly. And then, yeah, you've got that kind of cut going back into the lower torso, which I think is a really nice, it's a really nice shape going on there. I think he's great. Yeah, I would have just done, I will say though, I 100% would have just gone with the classic style design from the vintage figure to allow, I think it's about halfway up the shin. There's a very good spot for what could have been a nice articulation point, which I think would have solved that issue and made him a little bit less knights in shining armor sort of vibes on that shin. He's very RoboCop in the legs, I have to say, but again, I think it's a wicked figure, and I'm down. This has made me very happy seeing these images. I was always sold with this one, but not in the same way after seeing these images. And I will admit, I do get carried away when it comes to promo images, right? When they bust those out, it's game over. When Matt Cohen and Corey from Hasbro bust out their phenomenal set piece promo images, that's it. I lose my GD mind. Looks way better than I thought, says Paul. Agreed. Only the 5 tomorrow, says Jeremy. Yes. I think you're answering a question to someone else, though, in the question. Sorry, in the comments. My apologies. Bias says, I wish the helmet was a little bit wider and that the eyes sat deeper to give the impression of a head inside there. They do kind of push out a little bit, don't they? That's a good point, actually. Felix says the CZ is looking really good. Why? I cannot resist. I know. Same. Excuse me. Tim Popkid says 86 is my typical last year of Joe's, so I don't have any nostalgia for this Cobra Commander, but it looks so great. I'm probably grabbing it anyway. Thank you, Tim. Squishy says, I would have preferred the classic wrist and ankle details, but this one is still good. I'm with you on that one, Squishy. I'm with you on that one. I think they could have gone way more vintage. Right, because I feel like they've gone a little bit closer to the 25th or the kind of 4-inch modern version, which is all right. It's a cool, it's a cool, like, look and everything, but it's definitely sleeker, thinner, less kind of aggressive, in my opinion, than the original one. The original one's really, really awesome. There's some real appeal to that chonkiness for me. Eworthy says, I miss Corey. Yes, Corey Cantaloupe, who I also miss, but I was referring to Corey the photographer, Eworthy, not Corey Cantaloupe, the ex-sculptor, who, again, amazing human being. I love Corey as well. And shout out to Corey Cantaloupe and Emily Cantaloupe. Amazing people. Love them. David says, mine was cancelled as well, but I don't believe they will be in store. Oh, are you talking about Red Laser, David? Okay. You don't believe they will be in store on what Brian Flynn has said. Interesting. Okay. Then it's just Walmart cancelling pre-orders, which it's nothing new there, is it really? Jeremy says, seeing this in the Harmer run recently has me excited for it. Yeah, definitely. His holster should be on the right since he's a righty, says Bored with Figures. Yeah, trying to think what they've probably just copied what was on the last one, but yeah, you're right. I would say that it's definitely a good point when you think about it from a practical point of view. Although, could Fred have been left-handed, and that could be the homage here, and that's how you figure that's how you know the two are different. I'm sorry, I'm just literally making stuff up in the narrative here. Yeah, I think it's one of those things, Sean. I don't think that they're left-handed as such. I think it's just one of those things as you design it, or you look. It's just how it look. If it looks good, or if it sits a little bit better, then, or if kind of like from an aesthetic point of view, it might look better. But I'm with you on that one. I think there's the bit of practicality might go out the window every now and again. Like, how there's that kind of, not, I think it's an error. How Shockwave, his shield, he can only really use that as a, like, he can use it in his right hand to operate the gun. The other way is a bit awkward because it's got the cut out the corner and the wrong side. So yeah, there's little elements like that in this line. Maybe is Lenny left-handed? I don't know. We'll have to ask him. I would have loved a Fred head, but he looks awesome anyways. Yeah, I agree. It is the same one as the 25th, says Justin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's very similar in that design. That's why I'm saying it. They wouldn't have been bad for going in more of a vintage direction there, I don't think. OG card art is left hip, says Jeremy. Yeah, and again, these are errors made earlier than the classified series, aren't they? And they just continue those themes sometimes. And then I guess you could say, well, you'd have the power to kind of switch it up a little bit. But you know what would happen? If you switched it over to the right thigh, people would be like, it's on the wrong side. The card art's this. So you never really win, do you, in these sort of kind of situations? Is this 100% new parts, by the way? Interesting to see what, if any, of this repurposed for any future figures. It's all new. I don't know that I don't think anything's reused on this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is fully unique build. And I say in terms of repurpose, it's going to just be redecos bias, isn't it? You've got the blue one they've done in the past. The Crimson Strike team could get one. You could do a Python Patrol situation. You could do all black would be kind of dope. You could do all sorts of different versions, honestly, with this one. You could just follow the Cobra Commander color coding format for it. And I would fully expect them to reutilize this in some way in the future. I can't see them not doing that again. Yeah. Anyway, 97 Blue Deco or the Crimson Procession with Range Viper head. Yeah, that would be kind of crazy, actually, Jeremy. I've kind of mentioned both of those as options, so I think that's probably it's very likely we'll get a blue or a red one in the future. My display is set up as the Battle of Cobra Island. This will definitely become my Fred. Nice one, Hydrus. With Fred's head, we would have army built this guy. Yes, comic book bin. I kind of feel that as well. Although I think any Cobra Commander is probably an instant sellout, basically, because it's Cobra Commander, or at least they sell. They do all right. If they'd have done it as a troop builder opportunity as well, I think people would have gone absolutely crazy pants and bought loads. And sometimes, if that was a forethought and they did an extra head that had, if they did an extra head that in there instead of the two sort of similar heads that are different still, I think they would have they might have done even crazier with it. Who knows? Just missing the hooded CC, says Bored with Figures. Yeah, I know. You kind of feel like that's on the cards at some point in the future. I certainly don't think it's off the table as much as it used to be. I think it'll probably happen at some point. I do like the chest. It gives the figure the bulk that was missing in the render. Yeah, definitely. Would a gold version be too much, Toy Bounty Hunter? No, that would be phenomenal. Any insight on pricing? Only the usual standard pricing, unless it's going to be the new the new going forward scenario. Who knows? At the moment, as far as we can tell, it's all the same $24.99 mainline standard release figures, with the claw being, actually don't know what the claw is. I genuinely don't know what the claw is. But the main line, like the retail wave of 4 that we'll be looking at today, as far as we're aware at the moment, it's still $24.99, but who knows? It could go up. It could very easily go up this time. Right. Yeah. So there's more to look at. Then, of course, we've got the packaging. And it looks like, it looks like they've gone with the snake kind of head, haven't they, as the default? I think, anyway. Am I seeing that right? I've got to look at my computer because my phone isn't up on Wi-Fi anymore. Yeah, it looks like they've gone with the snake head as the default head, which is an interesting move there. They've gone full Deke. Gross. Claw probably $74.99. Yeah, possibly. Bias. I still don't have no clue on that one, honestly. Do you think this chess piece will be used for Night Viper, Chris? Don't know, actually, David. I haven't really thought about that. Is that a thing? Does a Night Viper even look like that? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Haven't seen anything about a Night, other than the name listing leak. Haven't seen anything physically regarding a Night Viper. Give it a week, you'll probably see blooming leaked images. The way things go around here nowadays. Yeah, so it looks like they've gone full Deke on that. And funnily enough, from this distance, looking at the screen, I say this distance, I'm like half a foot away. Looking on the back of the package, it looks like Swamp Thing is in one of the call out images, but it's the iguana. But from like the distance, it kind of looks like he's got eyes, the two black bits at the bottom of underneath the neck kind of thing. They look like eyes where I'm looking at. It looks like a monster. It looks like sort of like one of those electro monsters from like the Marvel kind of comics from back in the day. What we saying? We don't know, Michael. We don't know about the tariff situation with this particular wave. We'll find out tomorrow, I guess. The iguana is not named on box. Well, we know it's Serpentor, don't we? They've even said that. I like how they've actually called it combat armor on the thing. That's the first I've noticed that, by the way. I did not notice they've called it Cobra Commander with combat armor. I thought it would have been battle armor Cobra Commander, because that's what he was always known as. I'm not sure where that came from. Was it written down somewhere? I can't remember. Do you guys remember that? if it was it battle armor on the original figure? Is that what it was? Because, or is it just one of those things that the fandom made up? Anyway, I'd love to see a vac metal version of the battle armor Cobra Commander at some point, says TK Storm. That would be crazy. That'd be crazy good. The product images from Python Patrol Deke episode, so Snake Eyes makes sense. Absolutely, Scott. Yes. So yeah, absolutely. The background image, which we can zoom in on now, yeah, is obviously straight out of the Deke cartoon. It's the location, it's the temple, it's the iguana. It's, yeah, absolutely. Straight out of Deke, straight out of Compton. Are we ready to pay more than 25 for a regular figure, says Eric? I'm not sure I am. Yeah, it said battle armor on the 97 OG, right, GL? I thought so. Okay. File card for BACC said Cobra Commander with battle armor. Yeah, interesting. I wonder why they changed that. They're two different heads end price. One has the like snaky like eyes, like the Deke cartoon Cobra Commander, where he's kind of like half turned into a like half human, half snake dude, like Once a Man basically, but with green on him. And then the other one is just a regular human eyes in the little kind of thing. So kind of the same head, but not the same head at the same time. Lone Dragon says no. I always called him Diving Suit Cobra Commander because it has a diving helmet. Scott's also giving us information here. Leader 4, Light Weapons 1, Psyops 4, and Coercion 4. If anyone's taking notes of the abilities options there, they still put those on there. They still hustle with that. Yeah, even though they've taken it down everywhere else, including the website, which doesn't seem to exist anymore. Aaron Easton says you can take your pick of what head swap will be Fred 7. I'm thinking Unmasked Captain America comic version or MCU. They're good shouts. Good shouts. Quite ironic that as well, isn't it? You know, such a good character being used for such a bad character. I like it. Yeah, nice one. So anyway, that's Cobra Commander. Shout out to Deke on the old card back as well. I'm hoping for even better, clearer images, just in case there's any other homages I haven't quite noticed or picked up on. But you never know. I think that's pretty much what it is, though, isn't it? Next up, then, Major Blood. Yeah, Major Blood. So this one is interesting for me because I'm just not like, it's like one of those things where it's like, it's cool, it's Major Blood, it's a great figure, like the Cobra Island version is insane, one of my favorites actually. A brilliant figure. And then they go and change things by saying something stupid like I love you. So they've changed the legs and the arms, right? So it's kind of like a pinless scenario now. Is it like Outback? Is it Outback? Bits and bobs? I can't remember. But there are elements on this particular figure that are now new. Also, I don't remember that giant thing on his right. Is that on that figure? Why have I never noticed that before? I just don't notice anything, do I? Did he have that huge honking holster thing on the... Hang on, 2 seconds. I want to look myself. So, and it's only right there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. Oh, yeah, I see. I think my mistake on that was because obviously there's a bit more deco on this one, so it looks a little bit like, it looks a bit more pronounced on this version. The other one I think is still black or all brown or something. It's all one solid color by the looks of things. So I didn't really notice it being that prominent on that figure, you know, because it's slimming that color. So yeah, in this particular one, when you look at this one here, it's a bit more pronounced because you've got that extra bit of kind of deco on it. Anyway, that's by the by. He has been zhuzhed up, as Lenny mentioned. So he's got like those red elements on the arm, the bionic arm, and of course the the kind of slats in his chest, the kind of like little vent section. Very cool. The silver is definitely making it stand out. That's what I thought, Justin. That's what I thought. This actually, someone mentioned this the other day. I think someone just said it in here as well. Who said it? Who said it? Where did that go? Someone mentioned that the red and the black makes him a good, yeah, here it is. Justin said, my his squadron leader. Yeah, so like in the same way that we got the fire team, the Techno Viper with the MMS, the his tank and the drives and everything, he makes a good red and black sort of addition to that group and that team. So there's a nice little like tie in there. And I think if when I get this one, I'll be putting him with that fire team. No doubt about it. I think he'll look really good. Yeah, it was you, Justin. Michael says, not feeling the Tron lights, will stay with my original, but happy for those who missed it. That's another good point. Yeah, this does give people the opportunity to get a major blood. You see, it's funny, like back in the day when I was a kid, it was more an issue, or not more an issue, but it was more prominent that you kind of just wanted a character sometimes. It wasn't necessarily like, you might miss the first version of Snake Eyes, what have you. But the fact there was another Snake Eyes later allowed people to have the Snake Eyes. And back when I was a kid, that was more important, a thing to be able to have something that you missed out on earlier. It's slightly different for me now as an adult collecting these things. Yeah, that's weird to say, but like collecting these things now, I feel like I feel there's an obligation or a feeling that I need this major blood. I need it because I need all of them. They all have to have all of them. And that is, I think, one of the funny things that, yeah, I think it stems from being a kid, not being necessarily able, like not being like financially able or in a position to even find some of this stuff, but like just not being in a position to have everything. And when you're in a position to be able to complete a line of figures like this, it's slightly different, and you tend to just not you're trying to get all of it sometimes. So this one is a weird one for me because it's kind of on that balancing point of kind of saying, well, at least those that missed out on him can get it. But then I'm thinking, I'm still getting him. And I got that Cobra Island Major Blood. So, and yeah, I don't know. I'm just a sucker for this stuff, I think, a lot of the time. And to be fair, there aren't many of these moments that pop up. I could probably count them on one hand. I will attempt to do so now. I would say that you could probably put this in a similar bracket to this situation. Put this in a similar bracket to something like the Battle Android Trooper in the Retro series. Not a great deal of difference. Not crazy much. Not really doing anything completely wild or different with the character or the figure or the design, but it kind of comes into that thing of like, yeah, I'm probably going to get him though. Eels, I managed to get Eels when they were out. I was happy, but then the retro one comes out and I'm like, well, that's really a reissue for people that didn't get one in the first place. And there's so many it's so minimal, the differences on that to the two versions, that you can kind of get away with it being a nice reissue for people that missed out on it. I kind of feel that kind of falls into the similar category, sort of like a reissue where not a lot has been done effectively. And that's where this kind of falls in. Yes, there have been slight upgrades and tweaks, like the pinless knees and elbows, right? I get that. I totally get that. But is that enough for people? Is that enough? I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure people want this blood as well. Like I said, I'm going to be getting him. So there you go. Anyway, that's your major. Well, that image is another beauty that I can probably try and work into a Spider-Man three-way. What am I talking about? Hello, Kitty said. That's slightly different I would say slightly different Lone Dragon with I'm not saying you're wrong here. I'm just going to still keeping with that thought process a little bit of the Bat and Major Blood and Eels up inside you. But the Snow Serpent was slightly different for me. That was sort of necessary to get army builder Snow Serpents, but they didn't quite execute it correctly because we didn't get the vintage accessories. And I think you've got your deluxe Snow Serpent. No one's going to be army building that. I'm sorry. No one's going to be army building a deluxe Snow Serpent. I mean, I'm sure some people did, but it's not something that is going to be happening very comfortably, right? And certainly not everyone's not going to be doing that. More people, given the opportunity, will army build when the price is lower because for obvious reasons, or if it's like a 2-pack or a 3-pack or something like that. So I kind of felt like the Snow Serpent needed to exist, and I think there was a reason for it to exist. But that reason is you. No, that reason was the retro accessories, and because they didn't do that, I felt like that was a bit of a miss for me, bit of a miss. So anyway, let's not bring up that again because I'll just get upset and start crying. Venom says I will be passing on the major, waiting for a true Hiss Fire Team blood. You might be waiting a while for that, Venom, but this is probably about the closest I think you'll get to that. And hi, it's me. Here's an example of somebody who is going to benefit from this figure. These major bloods are for me. Never had one, so this will be my first blood. Brilliant. This will be my first blood part 2. I got 3 deluxe Snow Serpents and 4 retros, says Toy Bounty Hunter. Nice one. Justin got 1 deluxe and 2 retros. I did the same thing, Justin. I did a 1 deluxer, knowing fully well there would be an army builder version of it in the future, or another Snow Serpent at some point, or just assuming there would be, not knowing but assuming. And assuming is like a third of the battle. Knowing is more, right? That's the saying. But yeah, I did the same thing. But Toy Bounty Hunter got 3 deluxe Snow Serpents. That's crazy. Yeah, but you got more retros, Toy Bounty Hunter. So my point is actually still valid here. No, I'm just kidding. But that's awesome. That's a great. I mean, they're great figures. The Snow Serpent is beautiful. Derek says I did 3 deluxe and 1 retro. You went the opposite way, Derek. Yeah, Roland says they're making something for everyone. If you want to get it, if you don't need it, don't get it. Yeah, if you want to get it, if you don't need it, don't get it. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. I think for a lot of collectors, there's a strong compulsion for an almost obligation, almost to have it all, to consume it all consuming, and yeah, cool. Anyway, Russell says, I do have the Cobra Island one, and this one does have some more differences other than the paint, so I am getting one. Yeah, totally. Scott says, how dare you be level-headed about collecting? Yeah, true. I'll move on. So as well as the few black and white images, we get the packaging images as well. Always interesting that they don't have the helmet on him on the interior on the box. I don't know why because a lot of figures do come with the helmet on their head in box. Not a lot of classified figures necessarily, but a lot of figures in general do. So it's interesting they decided not to put the helmet on Major Blood. I mean, even the Sarge had a bit of a go at them, didn't he, for not having the cover on his head on his Marauders version. And now there's 2 sort of versions of that Sarge knocking about because of that, which is I find quite funny, honestly. I was really hoping to get the one without the hat on in box, because that would have made life very easy in trying to get the variant, because they were just everywhere after that with the hat on. Anyway, yeah, brilliant stuff. Thank you, Eric, for the super chat. Very much appreciated. If you meant to actually also put a question in or say a comment, you don't have to do another super chat. Just put it in normally and I'll read it out. But I very much appreciate that. Thank you, Eric. If you're just being kind and giving us money, then I very much appreciate it. And you don't have to say another word. But I will look out if you post another comment, Eric. But thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. We very much appreciate it. PBJ says no one is in a position to get everything. Yeah, especially with scalpers finding. Yeah, that's a good point. Scalpers do tend to eat everything up, don't they? In that sense, I don't really know how you combat that, honestly. They've already kind of done away with the bots problem. That was an issue early on. That was a serious issue early on, if you go back all those 5 years or what have you. So they definitely did something to mitigate that issue. I think one of the things was just more like increase the numbers of figures they were doing. But yeah, there was definitely a bedding in period and trying to get certain things right, and in that sense. But yeah. Leaving the helmet off is good. That helmet would have conformed to his noggin. Good point. Yes, that's another very good point. Still wish they would have done a normal patch like the original Russell. I also agree with that. I think it would have been cool to do a different head sculpt for this one. Definitely. There's probably an element here of them finessing the budget a little bit of kind of a kit bash, a little bit of like a deco change, and you're talking about reutilizing a figure that for the most part you already have all the bits to. So I think that's effectively what's going on there. Eric, I want to know your thoughts about their focus on the cartoon versus the comic book. Are they favoring the cartoon? The CC battle armor caught my eye. Eric, that's a really good point. Okay, so I want to talk about this because I think one of the elements here is just what is most omnipresent. No, what is most obvious? What is most in the zeitgeist? I would expect that they look at a lot of different things and they try and balance out choices between certain characters. And there's nothing to say, like, there's nothing necessarily to say that the comic isn't in their minds necessarily, but I know what you mean, because there's a lot of elements, like when you look at, I mean, the movie's pretty a big deal with G.I. Joe, isn't it? Let's face it, the movies are pretty huge. So Nemesis Immortal, Once a Man Cobra Commander, and whatever comes next, etc. They're definitely doing a couple of those, but there's an ease to that. There's an ease of, like, people will recognize this, they will understand this from a more commercial aspect. And I think that's probably what is driving some of those decisions as well. It's like people keep asking for this and keep asking for this and keep asking for this. I think it's really what is the most prominent voice that's being said. And I think in a more commercial aspect, I don't want to say this in like a way that, you can enjoy the fandom however you want, but I think for the kind of, I'm gonna use the C word here, for the casuals, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but for those who are kind of seeing this and getting that nostalgia hit from when they were younger because they remember the cartoon, it's a little bit more like obvious, a bit more prominent. It's going to catch a lot more people. Whereas the comic, yes, it was huge and sold millions and was really popular and all that stuff, but I think there are certain aspects that are definitely more deep cut with that, right? And I think that's really all it is. I think it's just that balance, and every now and again it pushes a little bit closer to the cartoon because it's more prominent, if that makes sense. I don't know what I'm saying. Maybe I'm just saying in a long way, I'm just saying that it's more commercially viable because it's more well known, it's more obvious and in your face than the comic necessarily. But for fans of the comic, and there's a lot of us, there are certain characters I think they should definitely do, right, Eric? I think they should do 100%. Quinn needs to be in there. Dr. Venom. I think just an absolute crap ton of possibilities to really get stuck into. Fred being another aspect here, which we've talked about already, that I think should be acknowledged and should be brought in, and all that kind of jazz. So I think a lot of it is really just what is the most popular in your face sort of stuff really on that. But that's something I could probably talk to them about, right? So I wouldn't mind asking them a question about that. So it's been very cartoon heavy in terms of homage and all that kind of stuff. Will we see more comic book related stuff? Is that something you guys are, like looking at? I can definitely ask that question to Lenny and Tony next time I speak to them, which will be very soon, hopefully this week, but we haven't finalized the date yet, but it will be soon. Thank you, Eric, for your comment though. I really appreciate it, and for your super chat before. Very much appreciated. Yes, let's move on to the back of Major Blood's box, Kitty said, because he's in the same environment as the Snake Armor, which is pretty dope. So he's in his urban environment, shooting some guns, and your Snake Armor's in the background, giving it the big one, bit of fire in there as well. I'm wondering if there's even more in there that the even clearer, better image will pick up on. I don't know. What do you guys think? Hey guys, let's not forget to give Chris a thumbs up, says Wilfredo. Thank you, Wilfredo. I started with getting them all until the repaint started coming back to back. If you get 00 whatever complete, props to you. Yeah, big time, Roland. Save the new blood parts for a real retro card, Major Blood. That's, again, Squishy, I kind of agree with that a little bit. I think he would have been perfect for a retro release, right? Just like, again, like you could have brought the whole figure out, the exact Cobra Island one. I don't think anyone would have cared too much about the pins. And then you could have done a new arm and a new head sculpt. Bob's your uncle, right? Mr. Madgus says, you do have them. I just sent it to you on Facebook. What did you send me? Better images of these. Problem is, I'm going to just put it back on Wi-Fi and just check what's going on here. Bear with me. Because this is the other problem I have when I go live, is loads of things happen, don't they? Oh, there are nice images. Are they more? No, they're the same ones, dude. They're the same quality in terms of if this is what you're talking about. Those images, they're exactly the same quality as the ones I have on the screen at the moment. There will be even clearer ones, is what I'm getting at, when the actual official images on Pulse and everything come out. But yeah, these are the exact same quality, Mr. Madgus. But thank you anyway, I appreciate it. If you zoom in on it, you can see the kind of like pixelation a little bit. I say pixelation. They're not bad images, to be honest, but they're just not like, yeah, super clean. But yeah. How very dare you say casuals in a non-derogatory way. Sorry, Lone Dragon. X Factor says Target got crushed by bots early on when Cobra Island was out. Thankfully, that got cleaned up, and the cook groups moved on to other things to focus their bots on. Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on all the comments I've just missed. Anyway, yes. Billy Quinn or Arashikage Masters, indeed, bias. Yes, very good options there. 100% good options for comic book related characters. I think the Masters would be an absolute banger of a set. It'd probably one of those ones that would be really good and people would like it, but it wouldn't sell very well because it would just be three dudes in a three random dudes in pajamas. No, it would be, well, hard, soft, and blind. Kitty said in like a 3-pack as like an SDC set. That would be kind of cool though. Maybe you could do like a really fancy, well, they would do fancy packaging, of course, but you could do like an Arashikage sort of dojo sort of thing that, you know, like the lid opens up and becomes like a little overhang sort of roof or something. I don't know, it'd be so cool to do. Am I going to DFW? I'm not 49, Brian, sorry. That's the one in Texas, right? Dallas, right? Dallas Fort Worth. Is that correct? I'd love to go at some point, but no, I will not be going, unfortunately. Pre-orders are 1 p.m. tomorrow. Yes, we are assuming that, Lone Dragon, but based on, I didn't do the maths when G.I. Joe posted that reel earlier today on their socials. So what I'm assuming is that, although, is it a timer? Is it still timing down like it was before? Because I looked at it earlier tonight and it didn't seem to be doing view story. One day, okay, when did that go up? 6 hours ago. And it said, it went up 6 hours ago and it said 1 day and 9 minutes to go. So you do the math on that. What was 6 hours ago? That would have been 1, right? So yeah, probably 1 o'clock. We don't, Stygian. We don't know how they'll impact classified, the tariffs, that is. Not a clue. Maybe we'll find out a little bit more tomorrow when the prices come out. We're assuming 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay, we're just assuming that for the now. But I will be checking vigorously early morning. Well, that's what I'll say. Master set with Young Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, Matt. Oh, that's actually really cool. That would be really cool. I'm thinking like a training Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. You know how they're in the comic? They're in that kind of training kind of, you know, kind of mode and everything. Yeah, that would be so cool. actually. But the young Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow would be fun, Matt. Sort of like a, dare I say it, a movie reference. Anyway, lovely stuff. That's Major Blood. Monkey Wrench, I think. No, it doesn't complete the crew because obviously I finish on Snake Eyes. Gross. So yeah, Monkey Wrench. I've got to say, perfect. Absolutely sodding perfect. Love that head sculpt, man. Love the fact that he's got removable glasses. Even though we have had issues with removable glasses, I think the hair might be the saving grace here in keeping said glasses in place. So yeah, I think it'll be a much better technical build with this one, with the shades. I don't think we'll have the same issues that Buzzer and Ripper and so on have, or at least Buzzer anyway. But that's nice because that answers a question that I did have for them. So it looks like the hairpiece and kind of 3D glasses, Mad Max Cabal mask is one piece that locks into when you take the hair out. And then you can put the shades on over the eyes, under the hair, under his kind of curtains. He's got a wicked tattoo on the left arm. We can see there. I think it's two wrenches crossed with like a skull on it. And then he's got another tattoo, which is harder to see, but we'll have a look round just to see if we can see better images of this. Yeah, it looks like they're going to slip under the hair bias indeed. He obviously comes with multiple kind of like neckerchiefs. He's got a neckerchief down, and then he's got one that goes over the face, which is pretty cool. The grenade belt looks brilliant. The seatbelt one, phenomenal. It does look like one of his belt loops is going to be silver, which is weird, but I guess it's part of the design. And then also I imagine on the back is the same, because what we've seen from the leaked image that has deco on it, the grundle piece, from the back you can see that the belt loops are blue on the and silver on the back as well. Weird, isn't it? His loadout's amazing. So yes, he comes with his mental trident gun, which is just perfect. A pistol with holster, so he's got an actual holster with pistol that works together, and the two axes, which even more fun. Yes, spare hands as well, but I'm so nonplussed when it comes to spare hands. I don't know why, but I just am. But if you look at the back, they clip into his bandolier on the back. Perfect, absolutely sodding perfect. And it looks like there's two spots for them, I think, or is it just one? Can't tell on there. I'm sure you'll be able to put both on there. I think that skull will be a monkey skull with the crossed wrenches. I think that trident may be removable, says Prophet. Good shout on that one. Yeah, it does look like a monkey skull, doesn't it? It doesn't look like a normal skull. And the other tattoo, I'm gonna have to zoom in on that image. I could just do that, couldn't I? I could just zoom in on the images that I already have on my phone to get a better look. Yeah, like a generic sort of. Oh, it actually looks like a dragon, like going up with little wings. It kind of looks a bit dragon-like. It's weird. And yeah, probably a monkey skull with the wrenches. And then monkey wrench makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Makes a lot of monkey sense. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the trident might come off, because I don't think it's just a deco difference. I think you're right there, Prophet. I think that's a very good shout. I hope it is, actually, because that would make it even cooler. Yes, of course, he's got an eye scar. Pretty hefty one, but we kind of saw that on the render, didn't we? It kind of goes across his face and then splits into two on his cheek, which is really interesting, actually. Yeah, this is brilliant. I'm a big fan. I'm a windmill. I'm a big fan of this particular figure. The build, the deco, the accessories. They have smashed Monkey Wrench out of the park, out of the Ji-Sung Park. Absolutely phenomenal. And then, of course, we also have his packaging, and he is, of course, in his usual or the Dreadnoks' usual kind of situation, same room basically. There's a drum kit in there though, although the drum kit's been in there before, hasn't it? So it's not like crazy new. It was foreshadowing though for Cold Slither, wasn't it? All the equipment, the band equipment. I think that's kind of fun. I'm actually going to ask them if was the Cold Slither set in development like as far back as the earliest Dreadnought sort of things, because I think that's something I completely forgot to even realize, because obviously since the first Dreadnoks, we've been seeing, since the first kind of periphery Three Stooges Dreadnoks, we've been seeing this room with all the equipment in it. And yes, they're homages, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're working on anything, but it'd be funny to know if that was a little bit of gentle foreshadowing for the set. I love the jeans on him as well, Lone. Yeah, big time. Or Benedict, sorry, Benedict. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Showing us all pictures of Monkey Wrench's package. You know me, Lone. We need bikes and a Dreadnought Thunder Machine for our yes, we do. They have that garage band Dio on retainer. They do, don't they, Stan? He looks a bit wider, more muscular than the other three Knocks for sure. Yeah, he's a hench dude, this one, isn't he? McMurphy, that is not a bad shout. Monkey Wrench is looking like a contender for figure of the year. I think he's going to be in a lot of top 10s, 5s, 3s, whatever tops you see on YouTube towards the end of the year. I think he's probably going to be up there. This actual wave is blowing my pants off, actually. Major Blood aside, because it's not crazy awesome. It's awesome, but it's not like the kind of levels that I'm thinking about with Battle Armor, Cobra Commander, Monkey Wrench, and Snake Eyes. But it's a pretty solid wave of figures, and of course with the Claw being up for pre-order as well, that is also quite an exciting little grouping of pre-orders. Anyway, yeah. And Scott says Mercenary 2, Bladed Weapons 3, Explosives 2, and Sabotage 1. He really should be Explosives 4. But then again, he is a Dreadnought. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So obviously, I should have done this a lot sooner, because I've just been talking about this whole background for that entire duration. I definitely want to get more into that mask on Monkey Wrench, I think, with the guys, because I want them to talk about that specifically and their kind of thought process on the 3D aspect, and the red and blue, and I want them to tell me why. Tell me why. Anyway, and they've got the Cult of the Band poster in there as well, the tour poster, which is even cooler, with July on it, which is obviously the date for SDCC, right? It's got to be. Is that the 23rd? It's got to be. That's brilliant. That is a brilliant friggin' homage right there. I love it. Really subtle and obvious at the same time. Q&A thread soon. Yes, Stanley, I will throw out a social post regarding the Lenny Tony interview, but I've got to get it in place first in terms of when it's actually going to be happening. Then I'll post the social post so you guys can throw in some quezzies, and I'll see what I can get to. It is reused PBJ, yes, 100%, but I don't think that poster in all its detail was in any of the other backgrounds necessarily. If it was, then that was one hell of some foreshadowing right there. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Monkey Wrench is perfect. No notes. Snake Eyes. This is another one for me that I'm absolutely I'm so much more into these images than I was the render. If I'm being totally honest, the render didn't blow my socks off. I was excited because I love Snake Eyes version 4. But the render wasn't I was looking at going, yeah, okay, that's ticking all the boxes. It makes sense. Okay, we're good. But then I saw these images and I'm like, oh, damn, that is sexy. So yeah, I'm completely in on this. A lot of people have been saying he's got a holster, but no pistol. True. I don't know what to say to that one, unless the MP5 thing, you can take the silencer and the magazine out and it can slot in there, but I can't see that happening, honestly. I don't really know why they gave him that thigh secondary if they're not going to give him a pistol. I mean, yeah, there are pistols in the line that you can probably find and utilize with it, but it seems weird when you get a figure that doesn't actually have that pistol that goes with that particular secondary or holster. So yeah, weird, that one. I think There may have been an element here where they were trying to save on some tooling. Maybe they took it out, but then don't give him the thigh secondary. Give him a generic one that's got like pouches on it, and because there's loads of them, you don't need the one with the holster in it if you don't actually have a pistol with this figure. I don't know. If you see the pics, the holster is all open for the other side. Oh, let's have a look at that articulation, Nation. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, yeah, it is. You're right. Maybe it will fit that MP5 then. In which case, I take it all back. Yeah, I think the submachine gun's going to fit in there. I'm taking all of that back. I'm not even. That is. Do you know what? That's made my day even more. I didn't even notice that. I did not notice. Thank you for pointing that out, everybody in the chat. I will say, seeing the images, I was really happy with this one, and I'm like, oh, he looks great. Do you know what I would have? My notes on this one, I think he deserves a little bit more in terms of accessories. I think he does, and maybe even a kind of more, I don't know, a more interesting backpack than just the sword sheath situation. I don't know. I think that would have been kind of fun, you know. But I love him. I think he looks awesome. And the other thing I was going to say, sorry, is on the wrist guards. I would have done 100% would have done the elaborate sort of detailing that's on the original figure on the wrist guards. I think that was a little bit of a miss. But other than that, beautiful stuff. Love it. Love the secondary. Love the color. The head sculpt's gorgeous. I love the goggles. It's dope. I'm totally dope. I'm totally up for this, and this is dope, is what I should have said. Yeah, I think the MP5 goes in that little, or is it an MP5? I think so. I think that would go in that holster comfortably. And if not, you can probably just put something else in there, don't you? Yeah. Do you think we'll ever get a version 3? Yes, I think we will. Automaton. That's a great name, by the way. Yes, someone asked earlier, why no claw preview? Because it's Pulse exclusive. These images, people get these images off like Amazon and stuff like that. This is like that's why, because these are mainline, they kind of go out much further. Whereas a claw, being a Pulse exclusive, you're going to see it when Pulse posts images, or when someone that has them for whatever reason leaks them. Yes, movie Storm Shadow. Absolutely, that is the movie Storm Shadow kind of like sheath, sword sheath situation. It's been used a few times now, hasn't it? But I think it would have been cooler to have, I don't know, just a little something else there. Just a different backpack would have been cool. Anyway, I'm really into it. I think he looks dope. I think they've done the same thing with these swords that they sort of did with the Desert Commando one, which I don't think anyone was asking for orange blades, were they? But we got them anyway, and it was kind of a fun look. And I think they just copied that, but with the red to kind of hint at that sort of weapon color that he had back in the day. They've added a little bit of that color to the MP5 as well, which is fun. This one though has a little bit more in terms of kind of those interesting images on the back, in terms of the homages, the homage fray, if you will. Because we've got the return of the Fang. It is, and let's have a look at that. Bosh. Yeah, so we've got the return of the Fangs, and they're in the background. Now, we first saw these, I believe, with Starduster, I want to say. So again, I was kind of looking at these going, I wonder if Stardust is in the back. No, that would have been fun though, just kind of tie those two together. In the background, is that snake armor? Just kidding. That's for long-time listeners and viewers of the show. They'll understand what that little jokey reference is. But this is one of those moments where I'm looking at the background and I'm seeing things that aren't probably there. The background, there looks to be it looks like maybe that's a cobra-shaped rock, like a cobra head-shaped rock, kind of homage to, like a base for Cobra. Do you know what I'm saying? Could that be what that is? And the fangs are coming out of there to attack Snake Eyes. He's just climbed that rocky crag. What do you guys think? I'm definitely going to be asking these questions, of course, again very soon. We've seen the claw. It was on display. Yes, true. What have I missed? Loads. I really wish they would update the arsenal. And UMP or MP7 is what they should be in the loadout, says Shelf Presence. I don't get it. All new sculpts on Fig, but 100% reuse on everything else. I don't quite get that. Same Time Toys. Are you saying, because obviously Cobra Commander is completely unique. Snake Eyes has got a lot of new parts here. This is a lot of new on this figure. And obviously Major Blood is a lot of reuse. Monkey Wrench is a lot of new stuff on that. I'm not sure what you're saying on that one. I'm probably going to give a little wash to the grey, says Prophet. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, it is a little bit kind of block color, isn't it? That's a good point, actually. I hope we eventually get retro Ninja Force figures on pink cards. I would love that. Need to announce Fang already. I would agree. I think they've been, well, I mean, you've got the Fang on a few cards now, but we've also had the Stun, Triple T, Bloomin' Sky Strikers. We've had all sorts of stuff on the back of cards. We've had a tank that showed up in the cartoon, that white Cobra one. Maulers, all sorts of stuff in it. Do you know what I mean? Who's Rocky Crag, says Paul. Indeed. Definitely a Desert Cobra base, says Same Time Toys. Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. They nailed his head sculpt, says E-Worthy. I think so. I think he looks great. Darth says, just joining now, Chris. I agree. Battle Armor Cobra Commander's armor is less aggressive looking. Still loving this classified version, though. Oh, you're a bit behind there, Darth. No worries. I hope you listen and hear me say this later on. McMurphy, oh my goodness. Dude, thank you so much for the super chat. That's very, very kind of you. Us fans have got you covered for a Snake Eyes pre-order. In a currently dark-looking world, you bring a bright light to all of us, keeping our fandom alive. Dude, that is... You're going to have to up that. No, I'm kidding. It's tariffs, mate. No, dude, that is unbelievably kind of you. And I am, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I should do all of our super chats. I should set them at figure prices. I'm just kidding. That is amazing. You're an absolute star. Thank you, McMurphy. That's so kind. And yeah, now I probably owe you one. Thank you very much. That's amazing. Lone says Fang, yes, and Buzzbores, of course. Oh yeah, I once got busy in the back of a Buzzbore. Shout out to Word Burglar. Claw in neon colors variant. Just saying, I'm with you. I'm with you. Bridge layer E-Weather. Yes, the bridge layer did appear on a very recent one, wasn't it? Was that Blowtorch bridge layer? Darth says, did you notice Monkey Wrench's eyes are visible under his sunglasses on his box render? No. Am I going to have to go back like a million spots? How do you mean? Oh, do you mean on there? Are they? Is that what you mean on the back? Oh, that's really cool if they are. Or is it just the poor quality of the... It might be the poor quality of the image. No, I think you might be right. There might be a little bit of... I'm not sure if that's the case with the actual glasses, though, because you look at the actual glasses and they look pretty standard issue, Mogadishu, don't they? But anyway, that'd be kind of cool, though, wouldn't it? Anyway, back to Snake Eyes. And yeah, I'm glad I saved this one to last because Snake Eyes is an absolute huge fave of mine. I genuinely expect more images to kind of pop up today. And obviously, but you know, I'll talk about them tomorrow on the live stream tomorrow. So we'll post whatever we find or comes up or leaks out still. We'll definitely do that one. I love the drum kit behind Monkey Wrench. Indeed, Same Time Toys. We're going to be getting that soon with Cole Slither, which is pretty cool. Do we know what 160 is yet? Do we know what 160 is yet? That's a good question. And I might be able to cheekily shortcut that because someone sent me a list of numbers. No, looks like 160 is unknown as yet. So is 161 and I think 164. So 160, 161 and 164 are still unknown. But I wouldn't be surprised if 160 and 161 or even 164 and 161 maybe were like the two figures that got bumped for the next wave, if that makes sense. The Night Viper and Sci-Fi. Don't know actually on that one. Chris, should his shin guards have been blue? Well, that would be kind of cool. But what they did instead was they made his legs blue at the back look. So I'm kind of cool with that. But I don't know. The blue shin guards would have been kind of nice, actually, come to think of it. Oh, 164 is Beachhead and Quick Kick. Thank you, Stanley. 161 Snake Eyes and Polar Bear with Mass Device. Thank you, Lone Dragon. So it's just 160 then, yeah? Okay, cool. I don't really pay attention to the numbers on the boxes. And I always, when people ask me, I'm like, I should know that. But yeah, 160 I don't think is known. But the others, yeah, thank you, Lone, and thank you, Stanley. We know what they are. Cool. Is that everything? I think that's everything, isn't it? I think that is. So, like I said, those 4 figures, Snake Eyes, Monkey Wrench, Battle Armor, Cobra Commander, Major Blood, and not seen yet, because we haven't had any images to talk about yet, as in promo images, the Cobra Claw, which is Pulse exclusive, also go up for pre-order tomorrow. We're expecting 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be checking early, though, because I'm not 100% sure anyone really knows, or anyone at Hasbro has decided that whatever they've decided yet. They'll probably find out 8 friggin' a.m. they go up and everyone's like on the way to work or something. Anyway, that is the listings. I think anything's changed there. No, everything's pretty much as you were on that one. I will have a little listings update later in the week. I'll wait probably till after the episode. Maybe I'll talk about it on the episode tomorrow. But there is a little listings update for 2026, just 1 item. And I think you could probably guess what that is, knowing that we've got kind of name-only reveals around the corner. Yeah, so the 2026 listings as of right now are unchanged, but we will have a little bit of more information very soon. Any speculation on digital renders or name-only reveals tomorrow? No, Scott, no live stream, so probably nothing. It'll probably just be it'll just be a social drop. So there won't be a video, there won't be a live stream. It'll just be pre-orders are up. So yeah, probably nothing on that front. But you never know. They might throw in like a little extra on the social drop itself and be like, hey, here's a social drop and here's a name-only reveal. They might throw a couple of things in there. You never know. It could be it. Scott, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying it's very unlikely. Yeah, so there you go. It'll be the same as normal, guys. It'll be 1 p.m. Eastern for Pulse Premium and then 2 p.m. following that, I imagine. If it's the usual rollout, it'll probably be that. But keep an eye out early. That's all I suggest. Just, I don't know, and I'm not 100% convinced yet that it will be 1, but it's very likely because that's what every little outlet seems to have who are selling them. Anyway, there's that. Then, of course, name-only reveals. And by name-only reveals, this probably gives away what we might be revealing on the next episode. In terms of the listings, anyway, it's not really revealing anything, is it? It's just going, there you go. Mark says, Chris, tell the Hasbro team we love their work when you chat with them. Thank you. Sure, I will. I'm sure they know. They push him back a wave every time someone asks, did you? Classified lifeline, yeah. Anyway, Taurus and Red Dog, of course, I've thrown in there as name-only reveals because Emily did say the rest of the Renegades will come in. There you go. And we know they're a 2-pack, so there you go. There's that. And then, of course, renders will be updating this tomorrow because we'll have to remove Snake Eyes, Cobra Commander, Major Blood, and Monkey Wrench from this grouping. And then we'll be kind of like a little bit low again, won't we? And we'll have to wait till like Yojo June, or you never know. Like we just said, they could drop a couple of things tomorrow just for a bit, for shizzes and giggles. Night Viper is a name only or leak? Question mark, says Max. Leaked listing. Does anyone make a saw and glasses to make Buzzer look sunbow? Did the Gridiron do something for Buzzer? I'm not sure if they did glass. Oh, they might have done. They might have done. Tell them to make more crystal balls, says Same Time Toys. They should do. If they're starting to cancel them on Walmart, then yes, they should definitely do. Anyway, if you can believe the Hasbro timer, says Barking Fridge, it will be 1 p.m. EST, currently at 17 hours, 11 minutes. Thank you, Barking Fridge. Clearly, then it'll be 1 p.m. EST. We're cool on that one. Hardcase 44 says, "Hi Chris, I'm late, but do you think that we'll also get a retro version of Armored Cobra Commander later?" I don't know. I don't know what you could do with it that makes it more retro-y. Do you know what I mean? I don't really know if there's anything you do with it. I definitely think they'll reuse the figure and the mold. I just probably don't think they'd do it on a retro card. But then again, I wouldn't have guessed they'd do a Battle Android Trooper so close to what the Battle Android Trooper looks like. So you never know. Could do. I personally don't think they'll do that, though. They need to make more of everything, including Vamps, says PBJ. Yes, that's a good point. Right then. Okay. That's it. I think that's everything. Yeah, it is. Thank you for joining me all, guys. Really appreciate today. It's been fun. I've had fun anyway. And of course, very excited tomorrow for the pre-orders themselves and to see more of those promo. Promo images is like, why is it? It's like heroin. Like I need it all the time, just like I need heroin though. But seriously, the promo images, I get so excited, more excited for the promo images than I do the actual pre-order aspects of it. Anyway, that's me. I will see you tomorrow to talk about the promo images, and then I'll probably see you the next day and the next day and the next, and probably every day for the rest of our lives. I'll also definitely be trying to push Lenny and Tony to give me a full-on date. It's already been officially, what's the word? Approved. It's just really up to Tony and Lenny and Tony at the moment. So as soon as they're available, and obviously I have to take that into consideration. I can't just go, can you drop everything? So yeah, even though it's been officially approved by the company, I have to wait for them to be available. So we'll be doing that hopefully very soon, and I'll get it out, Kitty said, and I'll throw up a social post about asking any questions when I know exactly what date we're doing it. Okay, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a great week as well. I know we all need it sometimes. We need that kind of extra oomph to get through the weeks. I know I bloody do. I will see you guys on the next one tomorrow. Stay fresh, cheese bags. And as always, after 3, I think you know what to do. You should do at this point. 1, 2, 3. Full force. Laters. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. And as always, you can keep up with the show after listening by following on all of our social platforms, links in the description. And if you would like to contact the show, you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback or questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.